you aware of the theory of alien abduction being a distant memory of childbirth?
No.
Yeah, there's a theory that is actually being tossed about, that these people that have this ancient, well, they have this memory of childbirth, right? So all of a sudden you're being born, there's bright lights above you, there's a man or a woman who's the surgeon with a mask that covers their face, so all you see is their eyes. And everything looks bright and it's terrifying and clinical, and you're on this table and everything's cold. Most of these alien abduction experiences that people recount, they take place in some sort of a medical facility
setting.
And everything is bright and strange and cold, and they think that what this is they're saying that we had this idea that children don't have memories, that babies don't have memories. And so they're saying, well, why wouldn't they have memories? That's ridiculous. Of course they have memories. They have brains. They grab your finger, they look you in the eye. They would have a memory of every second that they were born. And it's probably one of the most profound and disturbing memories, because before that, everything is incredibly peaceful. You're inside the mother's womb.
Then you're just like taken out.
And then you're pulled out, and then there's this bright light above you. You never experience any light. So and your visual perception, your field of view is all distorted, right? This is the first time you're using your eyes. That's why people have the same... So it's like
tapping into this memory, this early memory. That's interesting.
This is a theory. It makes sense to me, because if you think about...
Makes more sense than the abduction.
Well, it does, because people don't really go anywhere. See, the thing about the abduction thing is they put like cameras in people's rooms, and they say they have these alien abduction experiences, but they don't go anywhere. So what they're doing is they're dreaming. I mean, which is
the
normal.
mind is amazing, and it's so powerful, and we know so little still.
So also like all these. I mean, it's kind of duh, because they all happen while you're sleeping. Like 90
and you're
plus %.
They tend to be medical.
It's very medical in nature, right? You're being examined. And then there's also, going back to childbirth, there's also a lot of people that have these experiences that they are being told that either they're taking their baby away from them, or they're studying their baby, or that they had a baby inside of them that they didn't know about, and that the aliens have put it there and they're taking it out. Yeah, I mean, it even goes back to the virgin birth, right? I mean, it's all very weird. But this memory that people have from childhood is most likely, probably a pretty intense, powerful memory that's always there.
And
your
affecting
first memory.
And some people can tap into it, and some people can't.
Clearly. Sure. It's also a theory. While natural childbirth is supposed to be less traumatic, like women having natural childbirth in a bathtub. That is actually...
Well, we're kind of like moving back to, it's men start to get involved in childbirth around the 17th century, 18th century.
What happened before then?
It was mostly women. So women in the village would come. And actually the term gossip comes from the idea the women who would spread the word in the village that someone was going into labor, they were called the gossips. So they would spread the word.
Wow.
It became sort of a negative thing later. So the gossips would spread the word, the women would come in. This was a female-only chamber, and men were not really allowed in. A man might be brought in if the mother was dying or if the child was dying. And then in that case, instruments were brought into the birthing chamber. So the doctor might come in and he might take these sort of forceps and pick the baby apart and take the baby out. The baby would die.
God.
But in those cases, it was like really extreme. Like this was going to happen. Like either the mother was going to die, the baby was going to die. Both of them were going to die.
Or if the baby was coming out feet first.
Yeah. I mean, but a capable midwife could handle that. But this, the cesarean section, people think that it comes from the term, the idea that Julius Caesar was ripped from the womb of his mother.
Right.
But it's unlikely that story is true because his mother lives into old age. So probably the term cesarean comes from the Latin term meaning to cut. And the first sort of record we have of this happening, I think, is in the 16th century, and it's a farmer, and he takes the instruments that he uses to castrate his pigs to cut this baby out of his wife. And we don't have any records of whether this probably didn't work. Again, no idea of germs, all this kind of stuff.
We don't know if she lived.
I don't have. There's no sort of. It doesn't follow. The records don't follow the story. But she probably died, and the baby probably died as well.